family, and True Service members. Tammy Denton here again from True Service, just reaching out to you to do our part two of our financial financial wellness 360 program that's attached to our True Start. It is also attached to our secure checking account. So if you have chosen one of those two, you both sets of members have options to use the Wellness 360 package, along with a few other items and benefits like the credit monitoring with secure checking as well. Um, Today we're going to go over some specifics with the overview of financial or finance 101 through the Wellness 360 program, and talk a little bit about building a budget. And these things are going to just take us forward into April and to tax time. And towards the end of this segment, I'll remind you and let you know about our upcoming True Talks that we're going to have in the month of April. So we're going to go ahead and get everything ready and get that set up and move directly into the Wellness 360 program and the overview of Finance 101. All right, let me get myself set up here with the regular mouse. Okay, so we've already logged into our True Start program through the clubchecking.com, if you'll remember. And today we were going to go specifically through this section of the Finance 101. Just so you know, every little segment that you go across, resources, interactive courses, the coaching, most everything in here is going to be accessible through the club checking or the True Service clubchecking.com with your secure checking. These are great financial tools for you and your family. So start your kids off early as well, and just helps you. It breaks things down so that it makes you more of an expert on your own finances. It might not make you an expert on finance in general, but it's definitely going to help you understand your situation and how to work forward and get in a good financial footing for yourself. So the Finance 101 always starts with a test your knowledge, and you also can get certificates here once you complete and go through any financial assessment. This is a fantastic way to test, hey, what do I really know about things? We're not going to run through, obviously, and answer all of these questions, but I do want to just point out the importance of these things. Because just so you know, these are all things that when you go to a credit union or another financial institution to talk to them about your credit and the circumstances, around good or bad credit. Why can't I buy this car? Why do I have to get this one? Why can't I go new instead of used? These are all deciding factors that help to make up your credit score. So let's just kind of dive in here to the build a budget. Like I said, even each little individual section here, you're going to always have a little quick test your knowledge, but first time for a quiz scenario. Just on building a budget here, they ask a couple of quick questions just to gauge the amount, so that you know how much time to take in each section. So let's just go ahead and answer these two just as an example to let you know what you're going to be dealing with. What are the three types of expenses that you can have in your budget? So you've got A, bills, wants, and needs. B is going to be fixed, flexible, or discretionary. C is going to be pay now, pay next month, or pay never. And D is going to be flexible, floating, or fixed. So what three types of expenses do you have in your budget? If you revealed the answer, here's what you have. It's fixed, flexible, and discretionary. How much should you have in savings at any minimum? Now, this is a perfect question to ask yourself, on a monthly schedule. Uh, Funny thing is what savings, and that's how most people are. We barely have any savings, or if we have any savings, we're always dipping into it so that we can just live from day to day. So, how much money should you have in savings at a minimum? Um, here's your answers. What savings? At least 6 months of budgeting expenses, at least 50% of your yearly net salary, at least 75% of your gross monthly income. Let's see if we can be shocked by this answer. At least 6 months of budgeting expenses. So, what you're telling yourself here is if tomorrow something happens, and we all know things can happen because we're still seemingly coming out of a pandemic. Um, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people had to pivot and work at home. A lot of daycare expense, and schooling was done at home at family's expense. So some money was saved on one end, and all of these businesses that couldn't interact, engage, and have customers come in, or their normal clients, their normal income coming in. How did they make it? So at least 6 months of budgeting expenses is what you need to have in savings. And sadly, I can sit here and say I don't have 6 months. Um, so there's a learning curve here for every one of us. It doesn't matter what age you are. It's just making an effort to understand exactly what needs to be done to keep you moving soundly financially forward. So first, we're going to go ahead and create a budget with some options here. Just walking through this, calculating your income. Um, there's some specific instructions here about, finding your sources of income. If you're married, include spouses. You want to report your net income. What income do you take home from each paycheck? Net income is your wages minus your taxes, retirement contributions, employer-sponsored health care cost, all of that. So first thing that we offer up through this Wellness 360 is an income worksheet, which is fantastic. It's going to give you an opportunity to go in and put in all of your household income. And just so you know, when you work with any of the financial coaches or any of the financial counselors that we have here on staff at True Service, this is definitely one of the steps they're going to take with you. These are questions that are very important for you to be able to ask of yourself and answer properly. And honestly, because this is you, we're not trying to fool the government. This is not counting calories at all. You need to make sure that you're as honest as you can be when it comes to setting yourself up a budget. So you're going to put your gross monthly wages from your paycheck before taxes and other deductions. I know you think let's do take home, but let's follow the income worksheet instructions to the T if we can, so that you get a true and accurate picture of what it is we're looking at for your income. So you've got spouse's income, pension income. So if you're getting any kind of retirement, unemployment, which a lot of that was going on, the last couple of years. Some people have disability income, either partial or full disability. Any alimony, child support income, and then rental income if you are lucky or unlucky enough to be a landlord. Then you're going to put in every type of income that you have that's available to you. If you need to add something in separate, you've got options here to add extra incomes. And once you go ahead and go down through here, and I'm putting ridiculous amounts, obviously, but you can see as you go down, it's going to total up your gross income here on the bottom. So let's just say your income's $2,000 monthly. Your spouse's is $2,000 monthly, which would be fantastic. And so here's your total income. And this is gross. You don't have, Social Security income and that sort of thing. You're young, 20s, 30s, mid 30s age group. So we're not dealing with any kind of, hopefully, disability, pension or Social Security. Excuse me, I can't talk. So here's where we go into tracking our spending. And this worksheet is just for you to have a jumping off spot so that you know how you're moving forward and what your monthly bring home, what you're dealing with on the monthly, so you can start taking other expenses and things to work with the expenses of your budget. So every cent counts. No expense is too small. Don't forget to include everything. Your allowance for kids, quick lunches, fast food. You always need to factor in those things, the little things. Alcohol, cigarettes. They're getting down to the nitty gritty here. There's a lot of inconveniently ignored expenses, and there's a few of them right there. And here it tells you don't worry about being completely honest on this. If you feel like you're getting uncomfortable with what you're trying to enter onto this budget sheet, this is strictly for you to have an accurate picture of what you're doing. You want to track everything. So let's just look here. Understanding the three types of expenses in your budget, like we mentioned before in the quiz, fixed, flexible, and discretionary. So fixed is obviously things that are going to remain the same month to month. Your car payment, your mortgage, your rent, HOA fees here. Insurance, typically, even if it does change up year to year, in that year, most things are going to stay pretty much the same month to month. If you have, your kids go to school, there's certain expenses, school lunches, that sort of thing. Some set amounts that are going to have to come out. Flexible items are things that'll change month to month, and you can easily lower those, and sometimes they might be a little higher, like grocery bills, utilities and cable. Your cell phone bill, to me, that's usually pretty much set unless you have kids that are downloading or you're downloading or doing some type of app, gaming, whatever. So those are going to be flexible things. Then we get into the discretionary items that aren't needed for you to survive, but that you buy anyway, like gym memberships, dining out. For me, it says morning coffee. For me, that would be Starbucks, and unfortunately, that discretionary bill on I would hate to have to show that to somebody. That would be embarrassing. But discretionary also is going to be unexpected costs, such as home repairs, which I ran into that, having to replace an air conditioner this year, and that was a major dip in some savings right there. They also offer you an easy way to add in. So this is going to be your income and expenses worksheet. So here we've already, up above we put our income in. Should be 4,000 here. Then next, you're going to start putting in your fixed monthly expenses, your flexible expenses, and then your discretionary. And then once you do that and submit it, it's going to create, a semi-budget for you as you move forward through the rest of the program for this. Now, what this is going to do is set it up and save it for you, so that if you need to, you can always go back on some of the flexible. You may decide, on the discretionary, you may decide, my dining out was $500 a month. I'm going to cut that back to $300. Let's see what we can do. Sports, hobbies, clothing. charitable donations, that sort of thing. A good rule of thumb for things, if you're dropping stuff into savings, just remember 10% usually is a good rule of thumb, and an average. And then always, always at the always at the end of each of the sections, there is a quiz that is ready for you to go over so that you can see how well you did. So what do the financial terms upside down mean? Well, so you're not right side up. Your gross income is more than your total expenses. Your total expenses are more than your gross expenses, or your finances are in perfect shape. Well, so when you're upside down, excuse us one second. When you're upside down, your expenses are definitely more than your gross income. So once you build your budget, what should you do after that? So you stop using the budget, you build a whole new budget, or you try using someone else's budget. Check to make sure everything's still accurate. What you're going to do is check to make sure everything is still accurate, because the budget is a living, breathing thing. There are going to be parts of it that are living and breathing, so you're going to be able to move some things around, and just learning how to keep that balance on your budget, or how to balance your budget and keep it in balance, it's going to be a constant battle for you. So just follow these steps along through that budgeting program on your Wellness 360, and then go through, finish out your quiz. You can always, once you get this completed, go back in and go, oh, I think I can adjust off some of these expenses or those expenses. The fixed ones are always going to stay, but your flexible ones, you can look at some of that. Your discretionary, you can absolutely look at some and just see what's best and fits you better for what you're doing, and then see how that savings comes along for you. Just remember, after a few months, try to live with it for a couple of months and then go back and reevaluate. There may be options in there where you can make those adjustments. Either you have to go up a little or you come down a little, because your budget is never going to be set in stone for sure. So let me just point out real quickly, the next our next month's TruTalk programs, April 1st, we're going to be doing tax time TruTalk. We're going to have a tax professional answer your member questions, and then we'll send out a reminder next week or so about getting some information to us. Any questions that you have that you want to talk to a tax professional about, we'll get those ahead of time so that we can make sure he has plenty of time to answer those. April 15th, we're going to go through the Wellness 360, understanding your credit, using your tax refunds to help improve your credit through our secured cards and secured loans. And then ending up the month of April, we will do defining your financial goals and ways to achieve it. And we'll have visitors in on those TruTalks all for April, to help you get a better understanding of the steps you can take moving forward to improve your financial footing and your standing. So as always, if you ever need anything, just give us a call at True Service, and we will do our best to help you move through all of those financial needs.